Hi everyone, Melissa here with Create Your Future, and today I have a guest. Amanda is joining us for this video. Hi Amanda.
Hey guys.
Today,
I'm the guest today.
Today we're super excited because we're going to be talking about a topic that comes up a lot, and that is bridge of incidents. What is it? What does it have to do with manifesting? How do you use it to your advantage? How do you identify it? All that good stuff. So if you are interested in learning about the bridge of incidents, this video is for you. And we've got some good examples and a success story related to using the bridge of incidents to your advantage. So, and really quick, before I dive into it, we're still giving away a free course. So check out the link in the description of this video for that, how to find your blocks to manifest anything fast. And I do still have a sale going on through the end of this month. If you purchase any of my courses, you get a coupon for $45 off one-on-one coaching with me. So check that out also in the description of this video. Okay, bridge of incidents, what the heck is it? So really what this bridge of incidents is meant to describe is what happens between the time you decide what you want, you figure out whatever you're trying to manifest, and the moment when it shows up in your reality. Everything in between there. The bridge of incidents to get you from desire to manifestation. Okay, so this is where when we say persist, we mean persist through the bridge of incidents until fulfillment of your manifestation. So it can be any circumstance. It can be the seemingly no circumstances. Anything from point A, desire, to point B, manifestation, that's your bridge of incidents, okay? And a lot of times, you won't even really know the full bridge of incidents from the time you set your desire until the manifestation. Like you usually can reverse engineer it after your manifestation shows up, but a lot of times you'll have no idea all the moving pieces and things that need to happen behind the scenes for you to experience your manifestation. So that's also kind of cool about the bridge is, you know, there's all these moving pieces. There's always something going on behind the scenes that you don't have to worry about. It's just happening in order to get you to your end goal.
Right. And, you know, and that's so incredibly true. Like I remember years back, you know, I was like dreaming of, you know, a specific sort of relationship, which one I didn't have at the time where, you know, the guy was professional and like just everything that my SP at the time, my relationship, my boyfriend wasn't. And you know, the funny thing was it hurt at the time, right? When we broke up, but like, I just kept going, okay, no, the relationship I want's out there. I'm going to get it. Okay. And the funny thing is that relationship that I wanted did actually come into my life. And I looked back and I went, wow, that was the bridge of incidences. Even though it was something at the time that really, really hurt me, when I look back at recreating that person or just manifesting the new one into my life, it was so much easier to manifest the new one into my life, you know, like, and it was just like, it was, and it's so wonderful. So, you know, it's like when you look at things and you want something, you're like, this is what I want. And then you hit a closed door, you've got to go, no, you know, keep persisting because, you know, that other door open is going to be the bridge. Pardon me, you can make it two things, right? Like one thing that I notice with bridge of incidents is it's like the opposite of it is messing with the middle. Whenever something happens that stops you from getting what you want, you say, no, this is still going to happen. It's going to happen one way or another. I am going to get it. And that's going to create the bridge and you'll see it after. But if we start saying, okay, look at, you know what? Oh, texting, that's like manifesting a text. That's like messing with the middle. You're doing the exact opposite. You're basically burning your bridges before you even create them. Never ever say that any action or thought that you have is messing with anything. Always say that every thought, every action, everything that shows up in your 3D is helping you to get what you want. You know, it's funny. I went to go get like a car at a dealership and they didn't have it. They said I had to order in and it was like, okay. And then anyways, I ended up going to another dealership and getting the car that I wanted. And they are so much better of a dealership. And I would have had to drive like all the way back for things to this other dealership. So at the time I was disappointed they didn't have my car, but really in the end, I got it at a better place. And it was a total bridge. I got everything I wanted rather than just part of it. So, you know, when we throw out there the whole scope of what we want, you know, your subconscious mind is conspiring to make that happen. Like it's doing it for you and it's going to create it the way that you want it. And sometimes we look at things and think, oh, we're not getting it, but it's like, no, you are. So nothing can mess with anything you're doing. Never say that. Forget that term. That term doesn't exist. It's not an LOA term anymore. If it's not positive, it's not an LOA term.
Yeah, if it feels limiting, kick it to the curb. Everything is the bridge unless you decide it's not, unless you're like, whoop, hold up, not getting what I want. And that's why everything always works out for me. Everything always works in my favor. That's why that's such a great blanket affirmation, because it covers anything along your bridge of incidents, any circumstance. It doesn't matter what it is, because I know I always get what I want. It's just leading me there.
It's like that everything always works in my favor is basically the statement to create a bridge of incidents, right? And anything that happens, any disappointment, any setback, it's got to be like, no, this is the bridge that's going to get me there. Okay, I am going to get there. I am getting this. And, as long as you persist and you're going to get there. It's kind of like how I would say is, okay, you put in your GPS, the furniture store, and the GPS takes you and you hit a road that's closed. Okay. It's like, well, okay, that's closed. Do we just give up and say, oh, well, that's it? You know what? Putting it in our GPS is messing with it, right? No, you turn around, you find a different route. And that's exactly, and then you look back and you're like, well, you know what? There was less traffic on that new route we found and we got here sooner. Wow, that's a bridge of incidents, right?
Yeah, that totally reminded me of a personal success story too. I think I've shared this before, but it's one of my favorite manifestations. So I really wanted this new suitcase. Okay. I finally found the perfect one. It was really expensive. And I kept deciding, you know what? I'm going to find it cheaper. I'm going to get a better deal on it. But the time was coming for me to take a trip. So I just paid what it needed. I paid full price. I got it. I still kept intending I'm going to find a better deal on this, but I needed a bag for the trip. So I got it anyways. Okay. So I got the bag. I didn't make it mean that I wasn't getting what I wanted. I just got it because I wanted it. Okay, still intending I was going to get the deal. I took the bag on a trip. We got to the destination and I had checked my bag. And when I pulled it from the baggage carousel, there was a giant hole in it and a wheel was missing. And this is the first time I ever used this brand new bag. And so I was at first I was like, oh my gosh, it's ruined. Then I thought, hold up, you know what? This is just part of my bridge of incidents. I always get what I want. Everything's going to work out just fine. So I went to the counter at the airport, at the airline, and they offered to give me some information to fill out for a voucher to replace the damaged luggage. And it was a holiday weekend, so it was going to take a while. So I just took the paperwork and left. Then in the meantime, I thought, you know what? I just purchased this. Maybe there's some kind of warranty. So I reached out separately to the luggage company. And so the luggage company said, well, the bag you got is actually being discontinued. We're not going to make it anymore. But if you send us $25, we will ship you back something that is comparable. And I thought, well, I need a suitcase. So $25 for something comparable. It's not exactly what I want, but might as well see what they send me. I'm still determined to get the exact bag I want for the price I want. Okay. So I sent the luggage company $25. In the meantime, I had filled out the paperwork for the airline and they sent me back a check for the full price I paid for the brand new suitcase. So I got all my money back. And also, so now all I spent is $25 and I'm just waiting. I'm like, okay, well, I can't really buy my new suitcase because they said they're discontinuing it, but I'm going to wait and see what they send back. And sure enough, a week later in the mail, what did I get? The same exact bag that I wanted, brand new. And guess how much I ended up paying for the whole thing? $25. So I got what I wanted, but look at that bridge of incidents. It had to break first, and I could have totally faltered at any point and been like, no, I can never get what I want. And my new bag is ruined and my trip is ruined,
Exactly. And or said to yourself, oh my goodness, basically, calling up the airline or writing to the suitcase people is messing with the middle. No, nothing is. Everything's a bridge. Everything is a bridge, and everything that you encounter and any action you have to take is getting you closer to what you want, right? I still remember that story. As soon as I heard your excitement when you said, oh, I've got to, I'm like, yeah, we're going for the suitcase story. I love the passion you put in that story.
It's a fun thing to be excited about, but you guys, it's sparkly and glittery, and I love it.
I love it. One day we'll have to see if Jerry fits in it.
Right.
Right. I think you had a client success story too. We
Oh,
totally forgot
yeah.
about.
Just another example of how the bridge of incidents can work. So this client, she just recently got back in contact with her SP, and they were supposed to hang out on a certain day, and they were messaging back and forth, and then the plans just never happened. The SP didn't respond back, and they never hung out when the SP said they were going to. And so this client, here's part of the bridge. She could have taken that circumstance and made it mean, oh, they're not going to want to hang out with me, they're ghosting me. But instead, she just stuck firm to the knowing that they're back dating together, they're in communication, they're on good terms, they want to hang out. So she ended up feeling inspired to message the SP the next day and be like, oh, you know, sorry we couldn't hang out, I'm really looking forward to seeing you. And so then they made plans, and they met up the next day. And while they were together, she brought up the fact like, hey, you know, I was kind of bummed I didn't hear back from you. I thought we were going to hang out on Monday. And the SP was like, well, me too. I was bummed too, but you never text me back. And she was like, wait a minute. And she looked at her phone, and the text messages were sent on her phone. But when they looked at his phone, he never got them. So maybe when she sent them, the service was bad on either end. Like maybe SP was in a dead zone and not receiving text messages. For whatever reason, they never got delivered. So see, behind the scenes, something happened, but she still made it work in her favor.
Yeah. Well, exactly. You know, and the funniest things will happen, you know, I mean, my famous one is if I send an oopsie email, like it shouldn't have gone to somebody, I'm like, oh, it'll end up in their spam and they'll never see it. You know what I mean? Like I've actually had that where I've messaged Andrew something and he didn't get it. And we've actually compared phones. And I remember when I was sending it, I was like, so like, oh my God, this is important. You better get it. And like, you know, and then he just never did because I was so worried about it. Like I energetically blocked it. Like, right. It's so funny because none of this is real. It's all just basically energy that collapses into what your main dominant thought is, or your thought is at the time, the energy you're putting out. The universe and your subconscious mind has to give you what you're focusing on. So if you're worried it's not going to happen, your subconscious mind is going to be like, your wish is my command. I am not going to make that happen for you. If you're focused on it happening, your subconscious mind is going to be like, I'm going to make that happen for you. See, when I'm not so like, you know, worried about creating specific things, I always say, look, I want this to happen or something better. And then, you know what, it's hold on for the ride, stay persistent, stay positive, right? But that's not to say that you can't still manifest exactly what you want. You know what I mean? There's times where I'm very specific about what I'm going to manifest and how I'm going to manifest it. And in those times, you know, if I try not to stay too attached to the how, you know, just because, you know, I may have other thoughts and beliefs that may come up. But again, a lot of times I just let go and, you know, focus on what I want in the end, because a lot of times I really don't care how I get there. If I took a left or a right, a U-turn, or went over the overpass or under it, I just want to get to my destination in the most comfortable way possible and the most easiest and effortless way possible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty. You don't have to worry about the how. You can create the how. You know, you can decide like this happens for me this way. And as long as you don't put up any limitations for yourself in between there and give yourself any, you know, blocks to it, you can actually, you know, you can specify the how. But the beauty is you don't have to. And when you don't care about it, it shows up in the most perfect way that makes total sense to you, that fits, you know, that checks off every box. And this or something better, it's, again, it's like if you don't really care, you know, sort of, you know what you want, but you don't really care, then the or something better is just like icing on the cake, right?
Exactly. But, you know, I mean, guys, you can recreate people. You can manifest new people. You can do anything. This is your reality. Don't let anyone tell you you can't have something specifically the way you want it. Or, you know, that, you know, or you X is no good, or, you know, manifest someone new. Like, I mean, you know, don't judge yourself and don't let others judge you. You know what? You have the power to have what you want, right?
Yeah. And in terms of other things, like, you can never make that salary doing that specific role. Well, that's just what somebody else believes. That's a limitation. You don't have to accept it. You know, you can't be cured of this specific illness. Well, that's just somebody's opinion. That doesn't mean that has to be true for you. And, you know, it's all in your control.
Exactly. I'm sorry. I've been on a rant about messing with the middle because I had an epiphany moment today and I was like, you know what? I never want to hear that term again from anybody. I'd be like, do you really want to create that something you could possibly think or do is going to mess with what you want? I don't think so.
Right.
Does not sound comfortable for me. But yeah, guys, you know what? Look at everything like it's a bridge getting you to what you want. And then, you know what? You'll look back and be like, wow, that was the bridge of incidences. And always intend that the bridge is going to be easy, effortlessly pleasant for everyone involved. It doesn't have to always be, you know, something, you know, terrible happening to, you know, change the bridge or the trajectory. But, you know, I mean, yeah, always look at it that it's going to be happening in your favor. And I think that's like the main thing, and giving everything a reason. You know, when things happen, you know, I remember Andrew would cancel when we were like dating. He was going to come over. Obviously, I manifested that. You know what I would say? I'd be like, well, you know what? I'm going to go out and have a great time with my friends. Funny thing is, something else that I was looking to manifest would show up that night. And it was like, perfect. That was the bridge to get me here. He canceled and then I went. But when he canceled, I said, well, I'm not going to sit at home and pine over him and sulk. I'm going out with my friends. And I'd get dressed up, go out for dinner and dancing with my friends. And sure enough, something great would happen. And it would be like, wow, I'm so glad he canceled last night.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
you reverse engineer there. Oh, look at how that bridge just worked out for me.
Look how that bridge worked out. And, you know, I could have sat at home going, oh, this isn't working. You know, I mean, yeah. So, yeah.
And I think,
I
just want to bring up one other thing. When you were talking about messing in the middle, I think there's a misconception there too, because a lot of people think like, you know, let's use SP for an example. Let's say you're in no contact and your goal is to get married, and they want to like get an apology or get a text message saying, I miss you, you know, and somebody says, well, that's messing in the middle. You don't need that if you're already married. Okay, true. But here's the thing. There's a lot of things that usually happen between no contact and marriage. So if you want to manifest a text message, you can do that. It's not going to mess anything up unless you think it's going to mess anything up.
Yeah, you know what? You know, many apologies I've gotten over the 6-7 years that me and Andrew have been together, a lot, and it hasn't messed up one single thing. We are getting married in exactly 1 month and 2 days from the day we're recording this. I've heard, yeah, right. I know. I got my you know what? I've heard, yeah, Jerry's going to be the pallbearer and the flower Teddy. But then I've also heard that manifesting communication is messing with the middle. And I mean, I'm going to tell you, I manifested constant communication with Andrew before we got into a serious relationship. And guess what? I'm getting married in a month and 2 days. Nothing will mess with it. There's no such thing. You want an apology? Get that apology. You know what? I'm going to say right now, when Andrew upsets me, even though I created it, I want an apology. And I manifest it every single time. I don't see anything wrong with that. In fact, that's my thing that I want to manifest to get me back to my happy relationship. And for me, it's part of the whole process, right? So the relationships and the progression of them are no different if you know law of assumption or don't know law of assumption. The progression is always the same, right? The law of assumption just means we're conscious of it and we're putting our thoughts intentionally in one area and letting them scatter around and spiral out and go this way, that way, this way. We just have the knowledge of how to use our magic wand, right?
Right. Yeah, because before you knew about being able to consciously create, you probably still thought, after you got in a fight with somebody, man, they're going to feel bad and say sorry because they really messed up. And you got that apology. Like, that's a manifestation. You just didn't know you were doing it.
Exactly. Guys, you've always been doing it your whole entire life. You just didn't know it. And now you know it. So now, don't make knowing it to be a block that you think you're not doing it right. You're messing with something. No. Everything's always working out right? Everything's always working out for you. Everything's always getting to where you want to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can look at it this way, right? I used to manifest that me and Andrew have this great relationship. And the funny thing is we would get into arguments over stupid stuff. And then he would apologize and then we'd be fine. And it's funny because we were planning our wedding and he says, wow, isn't it great that we worked out all of our issues? And I was like, oh my God, I'm like, all those fights with the bridge to us actually getting along fully. But every single one of them were, you know what it is like, the fights are over, you say something, they take it the wrong way, or they make it mean that you don't, like them, or you're rejecting them, or whatever the case. And it was through all those bickerings and all those conversations that we came to an understanding and we get along and really there's zero fights unless one of us wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and chooses violence, right? You know, like not physical, but you know, it's like, oh, I'm having a bad day, so I'm going to poke just because I can, right? But you know, I mean, really, so you've got to look at it like, okay, this breakup, this fight that we've had, it's a bridge for us to get back together and be closer and stronger than ever. Like bridge is basically just, how am I going to revise this to work in my favor?
Yeah.
Right?
Don't ever make any circumstance mean that it's bad for you. You know, it's always working to get you your manifestations if you will let it.
Exactly. Wow, I've done a couple of videos today. It's almost like I'm like inspired to be creative. And both videos have been rather long because I think I've had a lot to say.
It's a good topic, right?
Right? No, they're excellent topics. No, thank you so much for having me a part of your video. I think it's
Thank you,
absolutely
Amanda.
amazing.
I intend this helped everybody watching and it cleared up some questions. And if you guys have any other video topics you want to hear about, put them in the comments because we do read those and we want to give you what you want to know.
Exactly. And guys, we don't always respond to comments, but we do take screenshots and send them to the coaches for them to make videos on. So if you do have questions or anything like that, we do actually, and then we normally comment, I think, that we're sending it to the coach. So yeah, so if you do comment any questions, keep your eye on the channel for anybody doing the video on it. Andrew's probably going to come in and say hello any minute now. I'm manifesting home. Anyways, well, thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, and manifesting us. We definitely appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. And I'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.